In Proverbs 16, verse 9, it says, "A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps." Every time I read this, I can't help but think of the saying, "You want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans." Now, that's not to say that I think every time we come up with a plan and it completely falls through, that God laughs at us. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I do think God finds humor when we try to get our entire lives mapped out. We try to get from right here, right now, all the way to the end figured out. We have every single aspect of our lives figured according to ourselves. But we all know the truth that it's never going to go according to plan. Something's always going to fall through. And the other thing is, another truth that we know in life is full of dead ends. It's full of forks in the roads and intersections. And whenever we get to these points in our lives, we search for what we think is God's will. We want to know it. We ask questions like, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? And when is this all going to happen? And while it may seem all well and good, those questions, they're selfish questions. They're self-serving questions. The only reason we're asking them is because we're lost. And as human beings, we can't stand being lost. We always needed some sense of direction in our lives. And if we don't have it, we panic. We feel like a sinking ship. But we're told to seek the kingdom first. In Isaiah 30, verse 21, it says, "Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, 'This is the way, walk in it.'" God says whether you turn to the right or to the left, this is the way. These are my ways, walk in them. God can go anywhere, and God is everywhere. Are we so foolish to think that God is only down one exact path? No. God is everywhere. So if we focus on walking in his ways, God will be with us, whether we go to the right or to the left. We need to stop asking questions, the self-serving questions of what, where, and when. We have to ask more meaningful and selfless questions, like, who am I living for? How am I living? And why am I living? When we ask these questions, we become more focused on God's ways. And when we focus and put God's ways at the center of our lives, we will find ourselves surrounded by his will. And let's not lose sight of the fact that God is God. And that when we get to certain points in our lives, if there is a certain way we are to go, he will make it evident. Because we plan our ways, but he directs our steps. So if he wants us to go down a certain path, he'll let us know. He'll make it evident. But regardless, we walk in his ways, knowing that his love is always with us. And that he's always had us in the palm of his hands. Until next time, that's today's moment in the Word.